And when he was in his 40th year, it came into his heart to visit his kinsmen, the children of Israel, to help them and to care for them. He had a desire to help people. That was a good thing. And on seeing one of them being unjustly treated, he defended the oppressed man and avenged him by striking down the Egyptian and slaying him. He expected, and I love this verse, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about tomorrow about why I like it so much. He expected his brethren to understand that God was granting them deliverance by his hand, taking it for granted that they would accept him, but they did not understand. You know, I thought when God called me into ministry that everybody would clap and cheer, but they did not clap and cheer. They did not understand. They were not excited, and I got the exact opposite of what I expected from people. Do you ever get the exact opposite of what you expected from people? You know what? God doesn't want us to make our decisions based on whether or not people clap and applaud. He wants us to do what we do because we believe that's what he wants us to do. It's time for some people to stand up and be strong in the Lord and stop being manipulated by popular opinion. Then on the next day, he suddenly appeared to some who were quarreling and fighting among themselves, and he urged them to make peace and become reconciled, saying, "Men, your brethren, why do you abuse and wrong one another?" Whereupon the man who was abusing his neighbor pushed Moses aside, saying, "Well, who appointed you a judge or a ruler over us? Do you intend to kill us like you did the Egyptian yesterday?" Verse 29. At that reply, Moses sought safety by flight. That means he ran away. And he was an exile and an alien in the country of Midian, where he became the father of 2 sons. And when 40 years had gone by, which now means he was 80, my goodness, running can waste a lot of time. There God appeared to him in the wilderness. Now you'll notice in all 4 of these things that I'm going to share with you tonight that anytime these people ran, they always ended up in the wilderness. Is anybody with me tonight? The wilderness is a dry, miserable, wretched place. You don't feel good about anything in your life, and then it develops all kinds of other problems, because if you don't like what you're doing, then some way you have to find some way to make an excuse for it or to blame it on somebody else, and we get so far down the rabbit hole that we don't have any know-how of how to get out. So after 40 more years had went by and he was now 80, God appeared to him in a burning bush. When Moses saw it, he was astonished and marveled at the sight. And then he went close to investigate, and there came to him a voice of the Lord saying, now this is so good, "I am the God of your forefathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and Jacob." And Moses trembled and was terrified, so much that he did not even choose to look. Then the Lord said to him, "Take your sandals off your feet. The ground on which you're standing is holy ground." Verse 34. "Because I have most assuredly seen the abuse and the oppression of my people in Egypt, and I have heard their sighings and groanings, I have come down to rescue them." Now watch this. "So now come, and I will send you back to Egypt." Come on, somebody ought to shout. See, how can we ever be free from anything if we're running from it? How can we possibly be free from it if all we hope is that we never have to deal with it again? If that's our goal, to never have to deal with anything again, I can guarantee you the devil's going to make sure that you deal with it around every corner. And the way to get to the point where you are not afraid of things is to face them. The only way that fear ever goes away is when you face it, when you confront it. Got to learn how to do it afraid. When I sat in front of my father, I was so afraid. I was shaken. I was so nervous. But I could not get on the other side of it unless I dealt with it. The only way that you can get free is to deal with things. The truth will make you free, but the truth has to be applied in your life in order to make you free. He ran from Egypt, and God sent him back to Egypt. Genesis chapter 16, verses 8 and 9. Now, I know some of you, your wheels are turning. You're thinking, how does this apply to me? How does this apply to me? Well, I'm quite sure God will show you. I honestly think that some people have things buried so far down in them that it's under so many layers, still hurting them and causing them pain, but they don't even realize it's a problem in their life. Genesis chapter 16, verses 8 and 9. Now, you know, this is a situation where God had promised Abraham and Sarah a child, and Sarah wasn't getting pregnant fast enough, and many years had gone by, and she was disappointed, so she came up with this very carnal, fleshly, bright idea that she would have her handmaiden, Hagar, become her husband's secondary wife, which you would think any woman would be smarter than that, but she wasn't. And sure enough, Hagar got pregnant,